let's talk about something real. What if the key to earning what you're worth isn't about working harder or getting another certification? What if it's about monetizing smarter? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the system for turning all that competence you've built up into predictable, premium income. So, let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You're good at what you do. You've got the skills, the experience, the results to prove it. But when you look at your bank account, it just doesn't add up. If you're not in your head right now, you are not alone. And the reason for that gap, well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover. Okay, so here it is, the hard truth we have to get our heads around. The market, your clients, your boss, they don't actually pay for your effort. They pay for value. But here's the kicker. They only pay for value that is so clearly positioned, so easy to understand that it's a no-brainer for them. And this, right here, brings us to a really fascinating idea, the competence paradox. It's this strange, counterintuitive reality where often the most skilled, most experienced professionals are the ones who are most underpaid. Why? Because they fall into the trap of thinking their expertise will just speak for itself. In today's noisy world, it almost never does. There's this invisible force at play, a kind of friction that's holding you back. It's this silent, frustrating gap between your true abilities and your actual income. Our whole goal here today is to make that friction visible, because once you can see it, you can eliminate it. Let's give it a name so we know what we're fighting. We'll call it value monetization friction. It's that space between all the amazing stuff you know, the incredible work you can do, and what you actually earn from it. It's basically a translation problem. The value is there, it's just not being converted into cash effectively. So how do you know if this is you? Well, do any of these hit home? Your income's hit a ceiling, even though you know you're better than you were last year. The only way you can seem to earn more is to work more hours. You kind of stumble when someone asks, "So what do you do?" And that uncertainty, it leads you to underprice your work, doesn't it? These aren't character flaws. They are classic symptoms of this exact problem. And this is absolutely crucial. If you're nodding along, I want you to hear this. You do not have a motivation problem. You do not have a discipline problem. You have a structural, strategic problem. It's a monetization problem. So that brings us to the biggest obstacle for pretty much every professional out there, what I call the effort trap. It's the default way we think about work, but honestly, it's a cage. It's a cage that puts a hard limit on how much you can ever earn. Let's break down how it works. Okay, look at this. This slide lays it all out, the two different games people are playing. On the left, you've got most professionals. They're selling things that are finite, their time, their availability, a list of tasks. But the high earners? They're over on the right. They sell things that are scalable and incredibly valuable. Outcomes, solutions, and the certainty of getting a result. One side is a treadmill, the other is a rocket ship. And here's why that shift is such a massive game changer. Your effort scales linearly. One more hour of work gets you one more hour of pay. That's it. But a value system, that can scale exponentially. You create the solution once, and you can deliver that amazing value to one person or 1,000. You see, this whole effort trap has us asking the wrong questions. We're so focused on showing how hard we work, but the market, your perfect client, they just don't care about the one thing we've all been taught to show off. They are not asking this. Seriously, no one is sitting in a meeting deciding to hire you because you seem to work really, really hard. It's just assumed. It's the price of admission to the game. It is not the thing that makes you win. Instead, the market is asking a question that is way more direct, way more strategic, and ultimately way more profitable for you to have a great answer for. This is it, right here. This is the million-dollar question. What specific, painful problem do you solve? Who exactly do you solve it for? And at what level? I mean, are you solving a $10 headache or are you solving a $100,000 crisis? The answer changes everything. And look, let's just be blunt about it. If your answer to that question is vague or confusing or sounds like everyone else's, you have displaced a hard ceiling on your income. That's it. Clarity on this isn't some nice-to-have marketing fluff. It is the absolute foundation of earning a premium. That's just the reality. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get that clarity? We make a huge shift in our thinking. Your income doesn't come from a list of skills on a resume. Your income comes from what you sell. It comes from packaging those skills into clear, compelling, sellable offers. And that is the process of value monetization. It's about, first, identifying where you create the most economic value. Second, packaging that value into an irresistible offer. Third, positioning that offer so the right people see it. And finally, pricing it based on the incredible outcome you deliver, not the hours you clock in. So what makes an offer premium? It's not just a list of services, no way. It's a beautifully packaged solution. It's clearly defined, it's based on a specific outcome, and it promises a real transformation. It's so easy to understand and so valuable that the price feels like a smart, easy-to-justify investment. All right, this brings us to the fun part, engineering your value. See, you don't just have value floating around. You have to consciously build it, structure it, and engineer it into something the market can actually understand, appreciate, and, you guessed it, pay a premium for. But before we build the right kind of offer, let's look at why most of them fail. They're way too broad. They sell effort, I'll work for you for X hours, instead of a transformation. They try to help everyone, which means they connect with no one. They're priced based on fear. What can I get away with? Not on real economic value. And they have no boundaries, which just leads to chaos. The model that actually works, though, is simple and logical. Step 1. Identify a very specific market. Not small businesses, but second-generation plumbing companies in Texas. Step 2. Pick their single most expensive problem. 3. Package your expertise as the perfect solution to that one problem. After that, the rest flows naturally. You create awareness, you earn trust, and making sales becomes the easy part. So, what happens when you get this right? When you finally make that shift from selling your effort to selling engineered value? Well, I can tell you, everything changes. Let's look at the promise of what becomes possible. Your income stops being a roller coaster. It becomes predictable. You actually start to work less, but on things that matter more. Your confidence? Well, it goes through the roof because you know your value. You become a sought-after authority in your space, and trust is just a natural byproduct of your clarity. Your growth is no longer random and chaotic, it becomes strategic. So let's end with this one thought. Your competence, your experience, all those skills you've worked so hard for, they're absolutely real and incredibly valuable. But that value is just potential energy until you do the work to translate it. It has to be engineered, it has to be packaged, and it has to be positioned to pay you what you're truly worth. The only question left is, are you ready to become the engineer of your own value?